Oh boy, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Another episode, Logical Senses Podcast. It's gonna get pretty heavy, a little dark, a little crazy, but that's what happens when you search for the truth. That's what happens when you search for facts. And that's what happens when you try to think logically. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, the bad guy JP, as always. Joining in a little bit will be the great of all time, Mr. DJ Man 6. And he's topping off his coffee right now, but y'all know him, y'all love him. If you've been part of Jaffo's TV and seen him on everywhere else, you guys already know. It's the man from the Mizzle and Dub Show. Mizzle is with us. Man, so I mean, as you guys can kind of see at the bottom right here, it's the topic of the day is religion and how it has affected society for better or for worse. Um, Questions, that could be possibly had, contradictions, the whole works. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be upset with it. That's okay. There's a lot of people that we hope that can see and hear and be able to kind of think and stuff with us. If we've got something wrong, I would love for somebody to be able to either throw it in the comments or somewhere else being like, hey, I know you guys said this, but this is what actually happened, or this is what this happened and everything. So we love the dynamics. We love the conversation. You know, I myself am going to try and be as level-headed as I possibly can, um, because there is a lot of things about religion that it it kind of irks me to a certain extent. Now, that isn't to say I don't have my faith, and I've always been one to say that I have a clear line between between faith and religion. I look at religion as a corporation. I look at religion as something that people use in order to gain power. I look at religion as something people have used to subjugate and oppress um, for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And faith, I've always looked at as, you believe in something, whether it's God, whether it's Buddha, whether it's the Hindu gods, whether it's the Roman gods, Greek god, whoever it may be, whoever you look up to, believe to, um, that's your faith.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Gotta top it up. Gotta get what you get. So just know that, people, when I talk about things and when we talk about things on this show, in no shape or form are we attacking your faith. We are, however, going after the people who want to take advantage of said faith. Going through history, going throughout, the storylines of everything that has been done and that has been said. I mean, I grew up, I was born and raised Catholic. My first 5 years of schooling, from preschool on to fifth or fourth grade, I was in a Catholic school. So every day we were in church, morning, reading the Bible, talking, basically having a whole sermon, in the morning before school started. So I know how that system goes. Um, but with my curious mind, another term that I give for ADHD, um, and I was lucky to have a mom that was very much open to me learning about everything. I had a very big interest in Greek and Roman mythology, Norse mythology, the different gods, the different, like, there were a lot of things that as youth and even as an adult now, I can look at and go, that's interesting. But throughout my life, one thing that I've noticed was a very uh, there was one message that coincided with everything else. Every single religion, every single faith, got whatever it is that you want to call book, Bible, Quran, Torah, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The message was always the same: be good to others, they'll be good to you. You know, just be a good person. Real simple. There's really not, it's really not that difficult to comprehend.
No.
And with that, I look at other examples and I'm looking at it going, there are a whole lot of people in this world that do not practice what they preach. And I'm talking everywhere. Like, this isn't just Christianity. This isn't just Islam. This isn't just Judaism. This isn't just like, this is everywhere.
Yep.
People have always used religion as a way to control others. I mean, look at the cults, over the years. Jim Jones, Charles Manson, every one of these cult leaders have gone off of Revelations, the end of times, the end of times. And what ends up happening? A lot of people who were down on their luck, looking for an identity, looking for something to be able to kind of uplift themselves, they were taken advantage of. And in the long run, a good amount of them are now gone.
Yep.
Those lives taken, all for the ego of one person.
Trying to be something he can't be.
So it's like it's one of those things that it's just, how could something with the message that is good have this?
Right.
How is this possible? How is a lot of the, if God is all knowing, all loving, all good, why are children being blown up?
Huh.
Why is cancer a thing? If he was all knowing and knew what was going to happen and had the plan, why did he create Satan to begin with? If he knew evil was going to run amok, why create evil?
Yeah.
There's certain things that pop into my head and go, okay, I understand the idea of, God has a plan. Understand that. But why does that plan have to involve suffering, cruelty, death? I mean, death is something that's going to come for all of us, whether we like it or not.
The moment you were born.
We're all either going to be buried 6 feet under or cremated, whichever one. So at the end of the day, our spirits are going up to
Yep.
whoever it is that we look for. And it's always brought, I consider myself, I'm not atheist. I don't want to say I'm atheist because I do believe in something.
Yes.
And whether it's God or just the teachings of Christ, which I feel like all of us in some way, shape, or form follow, because again, the rules that he put out are: be kind, love your neighbor. Whoever's without sin, cast the first stone.
Yeah.
The man hung with the apostles were all sinners. So how can you tell me to judge this person based off of what they did when the man that we look up to did the same thing? Yeah,
Turn the other cheek.
turn the other cheek, being able to love your enemy, because kill them with kindness, honestly.
Oof.
Because when you are being nothing but kind and good, what can they really do to you? It just shows their true colors. If they can't stand you for being a good person, that shows their true colors, not yours.
Correct.
That shows what side they're on.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously don't like the fact that you're preaching tolerance. What? Love the immigrant? What? What do you mean we're all children of God? No, we're not. We're chosen. The fuck? Who told you, first of all? And there's a lot of things that I look at, and when I read and I've read the Bible, now, can I memorize everything at the top of my head? No.
Oh
But
no.
there's so much in the book that, and
Oh
I
man,
really
yeah.
do, I really do give props to the people who can memorize
Everything,
damn near every line
all
in the book. I
scriptures.
really do.
Yes. More power to them.
But it's I do remember certain teachings. I do remember certain things that make me think and go, you know what? I understand what that is. I understand what that meant. So I can utilize that in myself. Like the idea of, and we'll go into mega churches, I guess, and stuff like that.
Oof.
The collection plate, the building fund, the bakery sales, the give me 10% of your work check.
Wait, and not a single doorknob has been changed. No
Yeah.
light bulb, no nail or hammer.
And yet the pastor's running around in a Bentley, a Mercedes
Rolls
Benz,
Royce.
Rolls Royce, living on a compound, 10 plus acres of land, got their whole family living in mansions and stuff like that. Like, wait a minute. Didn't didn't Jesus say give up your riches? Didn't
Hold on. You're doing
didn't
a
when
little too
he
much.
showed up to the temple, did he not flip the tables of the merchants? Did he not start whipping people going like you have turned my father's temple into a den of thieves? And yet, examples we have nowadays, money, 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 money. I've never understood it. And I we had brought it up before in the last episode, me and Matt Six, the last trip that we took. Okay, gospel concert. Why are you charging at the door? You charging VIP fees? Wait a minute. I've been to churches where they have full-on gift shops inside. Like
Mega
this
church.
that doesn't sit well with me. How are you going to tell me that you are a follower of Christ when you were doing the exact opposite of what he did?
Right.
I charging people at the door to just get in to worship. Like, what? What are you talking about? Now, if somebody wants to willingly give some, money to the church to be able to, help out with something, not against that.
Yeah.
You're doing something out of your own free will. You're giving up your own riches to help. I'm all right with that. What I'm not okay with is the preacher at the front door going, "You got the check? No? Oh, it's flooding out here. You guys need sanctuary? No, I'm cool. I'll stay
But
outside."
on top of that, when the word was getting put out there and he was traveling to other places and they conjugated, was there any chargement there? Stood up on a rock, said what he had to say. You either listened or you didn't listen. And you went on about your day.
Give unto God what is God's, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
I mean, I don't look, if you're gonna do the collection plate, I get it, but if you're gonna take it, put it in the right area where it needs to go. Not just and on top of that, we all know that churches are nonprofit. They don't pay taxes, so anything they receive, you gotta look at certain things. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some churches out there that are really trying to do and put out the word. But then you have the ones that are just, oh, no taxes. Just stand up here and say the words in the Bible. I can do that. There's been plenty movies, plenty shows, Righteous Gemstones, all the other ones showing you about how they do this preaching and stuff to get the money to travel. I can't remember that one other movie that it was it it'll come to me probably after the show. But there was one movie where they traveled around and they were preaching the thing, and they had a microphone in his ear, and they was telling people what to do. Like the one person that was in a wheelchair got up and touched him on the head, he can walk again. Come on.
Is it okay for regular concerts to charge?
But they're not spewing the
Yeah,
word of God though.
yeah. That and it's not in a church.
It's an event, an arena.
Now, if you're having a gospel concert, if you're having something that has to do with God inside of church, I don't think you should charge.
Absolutely.
Whoever comes in, you want to hear the word of God, you want to hear the gospel and stuff. By all means, come in. Welcome, welcome. I'm not going to charge you a general admission or a VIP fee or for what?
A
I
VIP
don't
in
care enough
church.
about the bill. Hell, we can have a sermon outside. Jesus did that all the time. I don't need a building to be able to teach the word.
I believe that's also said in the Bible. Don't get me wrong now. You don't need to have everywhere as a sanctuary or a temple.
Your body is the temple, technically.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
Absolutely.
so it's one of those things that it's just like, if it's a regular concert or whatever outside of sure, you want to charge for that. I'm not going to tell you not to charge for that, but don't come into the house of God and start charging at the door.
And well, here's the thing on top of that. Certain musical concerts are free.
I never understood the other part. Is like, oh, send me $100 and I'll pray for you. What? What?
Wait, wait. The water though. What's that two married couple where they was out there selling the water and all that stuff, and they went and built what you call that, a resort. They built a resort. It's on Netflix. You can find it. The two people, the married couple that went off and built a fantastic
the the the
sanctuary.
the blasphemy of selling holy water. Like, it's just
And people
the
believed in it and bought it.
and
Hey,
because
if that's your hustle
and I
game,
think and that goes to what I said, when you have a lot of people who, whether down on their luck, desperate, trying to find something to help them feel better about themselves. The and for me, it's just sick to have people take advantage of that.
yes.
It's disgusting to me, honestly. Um, I was always taught that if somebody's in a lesser situation than you are, even
Yep.
giving them a kind gesture of "you got this, don't worry about it, you got this." You don't. I mean, you can give them money, you can give them something to help them get on their feet. You can do whatever it is that you can, But the idea of charging for a prayer, charging for holy water, charging for, like, what? A gift shop inside the church. What?
Charging for Bibles.
But, like, and not even the original one at that. This was a manufactured one.
Now, the little small ones that they give away for free, cool. But you want that, some people can't have the small one. I'm talking about the actual Bible.
Like, I'm
Charge.
talking. I need the Bible that has all of the stories in it, not the ones that man picked and choose. Picked and
The one
chose.
Moses, the one Moses with the 10 Commandments and all that stuff like that.
Everything.
All that.
You look at the Ethiopian Bible, they have what, over 88 of the books or something like that? They have pretty much all of the books. They're the only Bible I believe that has all the books. King James, that was one that was made technically out of heresy. They left out a lot of stuff.
The revised version, as they would say.
You know, it's like don't
Was
even
that
get me
done by the
started.
Romans?
It started on the fucking Trump Bible. Oh my god. The Thomas Jefferson, Bible, all these different versions of the stories, and it gets diluted over time because everybody has their own interpretation of what things mean.
And I've heard something like this. Don't quote me on. Trying to give the general idea of it. You know, when a story has been written so much, the originator can't even come and correct it. So how do we know what is what? You can sit here and
And
tell
a,
me anything.
and a lot of these books were written hundreds of years after the fact. It wasn't it. The book of Paul was not written by Paul. The book of John was not written by John. The book of Matthew was not written by Matthew. None of them actually wrote it. It was created later after the fact. So it's just kind of like, if we're going to get honest with everything, if you want to go just based off the 10 Commandments and live your life that way, cool. Don't kill, don't steal, love thy neighbor. We're good.
Yep.
But a lot of people, the way they interpret things, and again, it's all based off power and the want and need for power. Look at the Crusades. Yeah, Jesus really wanted you to go around just slaughtering people based off of their religious belief. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted. Yeah,
Oh, and
and
genocide. Don't forget about genocide.
it's and then on top of that, I look at it and I try to look at it a little objectively. I try to be able to kind of like, okay, what stories are metaphorical
Yes.
and which stories are based in historical fact.
Yeah.
There are you can if you can't tell what's metaphor and what's fact, there's only so much I can do to help you. There's only so much I can do to say. You know what I mean? You got to be able to distinguish the two. And there are a lot of things that, especially with Genesis and creation and stuff. I sent you guys a text, for a question going, and this will have some people maybe think, some people may disagree or whatever. When you look at Genesis, so Adam and Eve were created inside the Garden of Eden, correct?
Absolutely. Well, that's what
Okay,
we're told.
that's one. Two, if that was the case, the Garden of Eden was created after the world was created in those 7 days, right?
So is he created light that started.
Go to
Um,
day 6 in the Bible, and what does it say? God created mankind and said, be fruitful, spread your seed, do the whole thing. And on the 7th day, he rested. And then it gets into the story
mm-hmm.
about how God then created the Garden of Eden, brought in Adam and Eve. Everybody knows the story from there.
Damn snake.
So I also had the question of, okay, if Adam and Eve were the first two humans on the planet. You're going to run into some problems of you trying to create humanity. Incestual problems at that. The two sons that they had, Cain and Abel.
Yep.
Okay. Then they got married. It's like Eddie Griffin stand-up. To who? Who did they get
Perfect
married
analogy.
to if it was just
Perfect
those
analogy.
four on the planet?
Perfect analogy.
I think that sixth day.
Do we still don't know? Still don't know, do we?
on that sixth day, I believe he created mankind, did the whole thing, but then after a certain amount of time went, this isn't going the way I thought it was. You know what? Let me build these two here. Let's kind of start from scratch almost. And then coincide, we can create and push it off from there.
Yeah.
Because I look at that and I go, when I read that, and a lot of people go, oh, well, the sixth day, and then the story coming after, well, they're just describing what happened in that sixth day. It's like, well, no, that's not true, because again, the Garden of Eden itself was made after. So how are they talking about the same story when that contradiction exists?
Correct.
So it's like, and then, because then of what we know scientifically about the dangers of incest.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
You think there wouldn't be some problems along the way during that time? That would then mean.
Well, how do you think it started? Just didn't start out just recently.
That
Had to
would
start
then mean
somewhere.
if it was Adam and Eve, and then they had Cain and Abel, then that would mean that Cain and Abel would then have to have relations with their own mother.
Mm-hmm.
So incest is bad, incest is bad, incest is bad. Well, if you really believe that Adam and Eve are the first two humans on the planet, then the entire planet, all of us, are a product of incest. That's just
That's kind of hard to argue.
that's just because Adam and Eve did not have thousands of children. And even if they did have thousands of children, it would still be incest, because those children would have to then essentially Targaryen themselves. Game of Thrones reference for those who don't know. In order for the blood, or for humankind to continue. So that's where, for me, it goes. I think God had created mankind. Things were going on that he was like, but then people are going to be like, well, God doesn't make mistakes. Okay. If God doesn't make mistakes, fair enough. We are all created in his image, are we not? Is that what it does it say?
That's what it says.
So if we are all created in his image and we have all the flaws that we have, does that not mean said creator has a bit of flaws in itself? Because again, we're talking about he gave us free will. Okay, gave us free will, but in said free will, he knew that with that came sin. So why would you want sin to run rampant through free will? why wouldn't you want everybody just, you know what? It's good. It's always going to be good. We're not going to have any problems. Because what's one thing in this planet that is consistent? It's the balance between good and evil.
And evil.
You go through animal kingdom, you go through humans, you go through the beginning of time.
A war that has never ended.
There's always been that balance. You can't have good without evil. You can't have evil without good. But then my question becomes, why? Why can't you have good without evil? Well, because then they wouldn't know what good is. Well, if everything's good, you got nothing to worry about anyway. Why would you need to really know the true definition of good? If we're living in a utopia where everybody's living well, everybody's healthy, nobody's getting sick, no wars, nobody's killing each other over bullshit reasons, how is that not something that everybody would want?
Well, that's why we have the seven deadly sins.
It, and which seven deadly sins were created by.
There you
So
go.
then that's what I'm saying. Like all of these almost contradictions are going like,
or look at it from how some people look at it. It's a test. It's the test if you're really committed to his words, his saying. Can you live by his beliefs? It's the pros and the cons. The you know,
but then that
it's
question gives me this reference. First man who believed in monotheism believed that there was in one God. That was Abraham. God came to him and said, "You're going to spread the word." But what's the first thing that God told
Abraham, not
Abraham to
Moses.
do?
Mm.
Hmm. The first action of your first follower is genocide? Huh. Kill everything from crop to person, livestock, crop, man, woman, child. Burn it all to the ground. Uh,
Okay.
well, that's a little extreme. And so I heard another comedian's like, maybe the Old Testament God was just upset because he may have possibly gotten it wrong with the early people. That's why he sent the flood. And then when he had his son, when Jesus got sent down here, he finally had a change of heart, and now everything's good. Because it's one of those things where I go, and you look at different examples, not even just Abraham's example. Look at Job, one of the most faithful humans to ever walk this earth, and God gambled with his life
Mm.
to the devil. The devil said, "I bet you he'll do this." All right, I'll take that bet. It was Russian roulette with that man. Moses
Mm.
led the people out of Egypt, freedom, split the river, gone through, still didn't get to heaven. Why? Because he split the rock instead of squeezed. Ha! All of this I've done for you in your name, all this good. And one thing that he probably just forgot to do. He's now not allowed into the promised land. You can watch from a distance, but you're not allowed in.
Mm.
That's a little extreme to me.
Just a
Somebody who
tad.
a God who has been based off of forgiveness
Right.
forgave no one. It was a lot of, and again, when the New Testament comes in, and I think of when I think about Jesus, and the one thing about Jesus is I know it's a historical fact that he was a person because every religion talks about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every religion has some sort of documentation that this man existed.
Agreed.
So when all of them are talking about it, Buddhism, Hinduism, all of this, but then that makes me think, oh, there was a reason why we didn't get from the time he was a teenager to when we saw him again when he was 32, 33 years old. He was
Correct.
traveling.
Yep.
He was a world traveler. I truly believe Jesus went to Southeast Asia, northern parts, western parts. He traveled anywhere that he possibly could and learned from everyone. Had an understanding we're all God's if we are all God's children, then I need to learn what are they getting it from? What does this happen to be? And when he did all of his travels, came to the conclusion of like what I said at the beginning. The message is all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to each other. That's it. The message is the same. So why are we fighting each other?
That's
Why are
the
Christians
million
and
dollar
Muslims
question.
fighting each other over one, the same God, two, they both believe that Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus in the Quran is mentioned more times than Muhammad is.
Hello.
So we all believe in the same thing. Why are we fighting?
I asked the same question.
We're cousins, we're brothers, we're sisters, we're all of that in the same name. Yet we fight. Oh well, Islam is very extreme. You know how they treat women. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Have you seen the way Christianity has treated women over the years? There ain't no difference. There's really not a whole difference on who really the only difference at this point, because if they're always good, he wouldn't get any kind of glory for the good coming out of the. See, I kind of disagree with that. If you can't get glory unless somebody did something evil, that to me is kind of like you're allowing bad shit to happen so that people can praise you.
Hmm. Hmm.
If all good is happening and everybody has an understanding that the only reason why good is happening is because of that, is because of God, that's glory enough. Hey, we're living a damn good life. Praise God.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah. Praise be. We're all living pretty good together. There's no sickness. There's no death. There's no cruelty. We're all living together. Everybody's good. Hell yeah. This is great. Praise be to thee. And I think that's where the thing of giving the free will is where I probably think mistake came.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
when you're opening the free will and you're opening the floodgates of testing people, that's where you get a lot of the pushback and a lot of. Now, if you were to just say, you know what, everybody's going to know we're good, don't worry about it. Everybody's going to be good. We're all going to treat each other right. We're going to be fruitful. We're going to move on. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I don't see why you have to create evil,
Yeah.
chaos, bloodshed, sickness. I can give him credit for life itself without bad shit having to happen to me.
I like what EJ said in the last two statements. I think they're pretty fair.
But let's see, what's said?
Especially the last one. I can
Let's
agree
see.
there. I can agree.
Trying to see this one. It's like right now, people forget that God is one working everything for them, and they'll take the credit. And but that's what I'm saying. Like when you hold on, let me read this last. But if God puts them in a position that they have to call on Him, and they give Him the credit when good happens, I understand that. That's one thing that I get it. But
Definitely the ones where when something is won by them and they go up there, the first thing that comes out of their mouth. First, I want to give an honor to God because without Him, this couldn't happen. Blah blah blah. Boom.
but the thing is, and I'm trying to word this to where it makes sense. If God didn't hit the free will and the basically the test and said
Mm-hmm.
everybody's good, everybody's doing this, everybody's going to have this mindset, you wouldn't have those people trying to take advantage. You wouldn't have those people trying to do evil. He would have corrected it on the spot when it happened. What it almost sounds like a psychological game that's being played, and it's one of those to where because of said free will testing and all that stuff, all of that brings in the evil that runs rampant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like this is going to happen, the evil is going to happen, yet you're allowing it to happen anyway. That's the thing that it kind of like, okay, I I don't see how you have to have something bad happen to you in order to be able to give credit.
Well, it's like sometimes some people have to see the light. Some people don't
But if
follow
you
it.
show them the light in the beginning, you wouldn't have to.
Well, you're not wrong. But then again, the saying is, some people got to learn the hard way. You can sit there and you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make that motherfucking drink.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes like that. Now,
He
would
used to
that be
walk on
perfect?
water, and you say it's because he doesn't know how to swim.
Well, shit. But you gotta both part things of what we just said are absolutely right. If you see it, you wouldn't have to find it. But if you haven't found it, if nobody hasn't led you, not led, but have taught you the way of to going that way, then that's why every church, no matter where it is, that's why they open up the church. If there's somebody in here,
Yeah.
and maybe that sermon that day could have locked on to that person. But I say religion ain't for everybody. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I'll sit here and say that,
Yeah.
but do I follow the whole Christian thing?
And I'd be lying if I said that I haven't gone to a church and felt, oh, that one connected with me. That felt good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like every church that I've gone into, I've been like, man, I didn't learn nothing, and this is a contradiction, and this. Not every
Yeah.
church
Yeah.
hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
There are, and again, I'm not saying that there aren't churches that are like that. There are plenty of churches that are like you can walk in there, and you feel it. As soon as you walk in, you can feel the presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
this is good. This is what I wanted to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to feel that acceptance. I wanted to feel the non-judgmental. I heard a line, being a Christian is where I learned to judge. I've seen
More.
a whole lot of people in my lifetime talking about, well, we're religious, we're God-fearing, we're this, we're this, or this. Yet they're the most judgmental people on the planet. Jesus rolled with sinners. You think he was that judgmental? Prostitutes, thieves,
He knew his double crossing was coming before it even happened. He just accepted it
and still loved Judas for it.
and still broke bread with him.
Looked him dead in the eye and said, you're the one who's going to screw me over. By the way, here's another piece of bread. Have some more wine.
Please drink. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and a lot of these people, I feel like the judgmentalism is more projection.
What is
Get your
that? What is
house
that?
in order before you start talking about other people.
But that follows in one of the seven deadly sins. Was that envy?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the next person can't see the next person succeed. You want that same thing. Well, strive for it. See what they did. Don't just try to go and take it. That's where the evil part comes in.
I will never in my life be mad at somebody for being for doing the right thing and being successful for themselves. And let me be very clear on what I say that. Doing the right thing. Now, if you became successful by stepping on people,
Backdooring and all that.
I don't have respect for you for that. If you did it the right way, why am I going to get mad at you? You're taking care of your family. You're doing it the right way. You're taking care of other people and stuff like that along the way. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jesus would be accepting of that.
My dad has a great saying, and he says it's like every time like someone gets if they earned it or the right way, he said, never get mad at somebody getting their money, not in their pockets. You know what
No.
I'm saying? But if they get it, earned a good contract, did it the right way.
EJ, come. I don't care about your background, even if we don't see you. Get on here.
Exactly. You are big into religion just like we are.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Like I want to, and I've told people this. I want to have conversations with people. You know, I want to
shoot,
have a better understanding on why things happen the way they are. I'm
yeah,
sure everybody else, and I know a lot of. Well, it's not up for us to understand. Then okay, if it's not up for us to understand,
we
why do
can
you
discuss
keep
it.
interpreting it in your way?
Yeah, we can discuss it. I mean, it's nothing but a discussion.
You know,
Are we gonna agree on everything? No, that's
no.
why we have discussions.
You
Just
know,
because
it's just.
as I'm a Christian and JP maybe what he just believes in, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, bro, man, I guess you need to
I
come
mean,
to a church.
I guess you can call me. Okay, I do follow the teachings in Christ. I do believe like what he taught
You just don't
was
have a
good, was the
religion.
right way. I would consider myself a Christian, but not in the traditional way.
Yep, I understand. I
You know,
understand.
so
I understand.
you know, again, I grew up raised Catholic. My father, my biological father, is currently Mormon. You know,
Okay.
so I've seen a lot of different
Yeah.
aspects and sides.
Yep.
But what I can't stand is my side is right, your side is wrong, therefore you're either going to hell or you should die. I can't stand that. Because that goes against everything that Jesus has taught. Are we going to have a little bit of judgmental in us when we see certain things? Yeah, probably.
Human nature.
Because and that's human nature. When you see something that you either don't understand or doesn't fit within your own moral compass,
Yeah.
you're going to have a little bit of a like, I don't know.
Pretty much the
That's
reason
the
why
law.
if aliens come down here, we're not going to have questions. We're going to shoot. They could be coming down really here for peace, and the first thing we see that spaceship, we shooting.
Yep. It's just there's just a lot of things that, you know, when I look at the Catholic churches, but when you look at the Vatican,
Oh boy,
hmm
I was waiting for that.
the billions, if not trillions of dollars that they bring in, and welcome EJ to the show. Sup,
What
sup,
up,
sup.
family?
Yeah, but
Going on.
when I look at the Vatican, that's one of the major contradictions that I look at and go, with the money that the Vatican itself, just the Vatican itself, the amount of money that they have, they can end world hunger like that in an instant. And yet, here we are. Pestilence, disease, everything that has been going wrong with society. They'll take the money, they'll take your money, but they won't give it back to you for you to either heal, get back on your feet. We're over here talking about, you got to watch out for everybody. We got to make sure that, that we got to, feed the homeless. You guys have enough money to do all of that.
Didn't Michael Jackson mention something about the Vatican in one of his songs?
I think so. Wouldn't doubt it. But it's like all of this stuff that is available for these churches, these mega churches, the Vatican, for everything like that, like all the money that they bring in, world hunger problem should have been done a long ass time ago. Homelessness and child hunger should not exist in this world if the teachings were being followed the way they should have been followed. I'm not going to sit here and go like, oh, well, it's up to God to bless you. I have the means or in order to help you. And if I have the means to help you, and my answer to not helping you is it's in God's hands, that is a direct contradiction. Again, Jesus came up and said, hey, help the poor. If you got some money and you can help out, give it to them.
The best thing you can do.
So it's just like, because that goes a long way, because that kindness that you showed to that person will then get spread to somebody else. And then it'll get spread to somebody else. It's a web effect.
The disease infectious. Not a disease, but it becomes infectious, like Yanni.
Kindness is definitely infectious. Paying for somebody in front of you, somebody behind you sees it, goes, oh, well, maybe I can do some good for somebody. Maybe I could. Kindness is just as infectious as mob mentality.
No, you're not saying here, go break your bank just to help, but just a little helping hand here and there.
You still got to be able to take care of yourself and your family and stuff like that as well.
Absolutely.
But if you have a little bit of extra to be able to give, somebody, who's fallen on rough time, you know what? I can give you a little bit of something. It may not be everything that you need, but it's at least a little bit of something to get you some food, a good place to sleep tonight, to do this, to do, maybe get some good clothes on your back, another pair of shoes, whatever it may be. Like that, I believe, is what Jesus was talking about. taking care of one another. Because in the end of the day, and I know a lot of people get like, well, if I do a bunch of, and I've fallen under this, as well. I do so much, and I'm quoting, I'm not just saying me. I do so much for other people, but get nothing in return. Why do I got to keep doing it then?
I think
Yeah.
I think what it
You think
is with
you?
the churches and them, I guess not being able to have a solution with world hunger and stuff like that and homelessness. I think what it is they would probably have to go back and forth with, governments and stuff like that because either they wouldn't get a piece of, whatever kind of income is flowing, or they'll stop certain things economically that's going on. Because so there's a church in Atlanta that just paid over um I don't know the exact number, but I want to say around maybe $20 million worth of debt in medical and stuff like that. So it's like if it's going to the government a certain kind of way, I think they'll be for it. But if it's anything that'll, stop some stuff economically or paying some stuff in a certain kind of way, then they want their hand in on it. So it's
You're
probably why,
absolutely right.
churches will shy away from, I guess, trying to change the environment or, you know, with,
Oh, you're speaking facts.
I mean, and yeah, I can see like I mean, especially if you want to give it straight to the people and not have to, give the gut, Uncle Sam needs to get his due type of shit. Like, but at the end of the day, with the amount of money that these churches and stuff like that bring in, that's not really and especially the influence that they have over a lot. I'm not going to sit here and act like especially separation between church and state. That's a lie. That I have yet to see in my lifetime where the church is not getting directly involved with government. So when you have that type of influence, I'm almost, and now I can't guarantee it, but I can almost do it that if the church were to come and tell these governments, this is what God wants, this is what Jesus is talking about, this is what we need to do. If these governments and stuff were doing it the right way and they were following the right way, it wouldn't be a problem because of the amount of influence that they have. Now, if they didn't have influence, then yeah, it'd be well, we got to government's got to get their due, got to be. But
Hmm.
again, when you're also giving into the government who should be giving to the people anyway, the government is here to be able to protect, no, should be at least, to protect the people and give to the people what they need in order to survive. So giving it to the government as well, it's like, okay, we're going to give it to the people, but we're also going to let the government know, okay, we're going to give you a little piece of the pie too. But with this, there's an exception. If you don't do what you said you were going to do with this, you forget whatever funds and stuff like that you ever gotten from us. And if you don't think money has a very big influence on some of these governments thoughts, as soon as you start messing with their money, that's when shit starts to change. We will give
Yep.
you this up until a certain extent.
Yep.
And once you deny, so will we. And the amount of money that the church has, like I said, especially just the Vatican itself. The Vatican itself probably has more money than the United States as a whole has. Probably more than Europe, probably more than a lot of countries and continents combined.
They probably up there with Dubai.
Yeah, we're
Maybe
talking
more.
trillions of dollars in that bank.
Yeah.
So I do feel that while yeah, there are certain hurdles that may need to be jumped over in order to get certain things done. I think again with the amount of influence that religion as a whole has on everyday life, whether people want to really admit it or not, religion drives a lot of people's decisions.
Yeah.
And if you're being told that this is what needs to get done, 8 times out of 10, maybe even 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the people to back it up and go, okay, given a sense of direction, like, okay, if we need to do this, then we can do this. Because a lot of people, especially nowadays, when you struggle with, a lack of identity, when you struggle with who you are as a person and you need somebody else to be able to help you get to that point, when you've got preachers coming up and speaking certain hatreds and certain logically thinking people would look at that and go, you're not the guy. We need somebody else.
Yeah.
But then there are others that go, oh, you're right. It's because a lot of they're slick with the tongue. They know how to tickle the ears. They know how to make people feel a certain way. They know
Yep.
how to twist the words. They've been doing that for centuries. How does God and Jesus and stuff how does that justify slavery? It doesn't. But they sure as fuck twisted the words to make them believe that it was okay.
Hmm.
The Crusades going on, just killing, slaughtering millions of people just based off of their religious belief. Like, that doesn't sit well with me. But that's one of those things that it's just kind of like, how do you expect me to follow your word when the only thing that you have told is direct conflict and contradiction with what I am literally reading in front of my face?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know, like I and when we're talking about especially this country, you know they put in the First Amendment, freedom of religion. Now, a lot of people are going to be, well, they base a lot of it off of Judeo-Christian, beliefs. Whether that's true or not, they knew to make it a point going, we're not going to, yeah, we may have our certain beliefs, but this is what we left Europe for.
Right.
We left because of religious prosecution. So why are we going to come here and do the same thing to our people? That's what we left for. We left to
Well,
be able to follow what we want to follow. Our freedoms for us to be able to follow what we want to follow. Now, how contradicting is that to where we're going to leave the king because he didn't want us to believe what we wanted to believe, but now the people that are coming over here, no, you can't believe that. You have to believe what we want to believe. You're no better than the king that you left.
absolutely.
And the pilgrims that left took the Bible of the king who was persecuting them, King James. The pilgrims left for a reason. And yet they brought the book that was persecuting them. How does that work? How does that logically make sense? Like,
Really doesn't.
again, because faith is a very, very powerful thing. Faith is a very powerful thing because as humans, we don't fucking know shit when it comes to what's out in the universe. We don't know a damn thing. There is a lot of shit that we still to this day we can't explain it.
Nope.
We can't explain. What is it that the roadie from ACDC? God is the image or something like that over the veil of understanding, something like that. Somewhere around like that. That's we put God there to
Mm-hmm.
explain what we can't explain.
Right.
Whether it makes sense or not, if we can't explain it, oh, God's plan. God works in mysterious ways. Yeah, cancer is pretty fucked up to be considered a mysterious way.
Yeah.
Children getting bombed is a pretty fucked up, mysterious way to be. Evil is what it is, but again, when you sit under the guise of all knowing, all powerful, can do no wrong, why is this happening? All for people just to say glory to God. You are willing to have innocent people, children at that, die
Yeah.
for people to praise your name. That's a, I'm sorry, that's a little psychotic to me. That's narcissism sprinkled in with sociopaths, sprinkled in with psychos, sprinkled in with a damn near serial killer thinking. Like that's wild to me. You're willing for people to die in the most gruesome ways, all for your name to get praised and credit to be given. That 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 doesn't sit with me right.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I go, maybe when Jesus did came down, the switch, I was like, man, I got a kid now. I gotta, like most people nowadays. Again, if we're all created in God's image, most of us, when we have children, our mindsets change immediately. The empathy meter goes up a little bit more. Like everything changes when you have a kid. So that could have been the same thing with God going, yeah, my only begotten son. Yeah, yeah. No,
Seems
I think I
like
need to. I
tone it
don't think.
down.
It's like maybe I was a little off in this.
Yeah.
Maybe I was. And again, and I think if you can, and this is what I think when it comes to God, if you can be able to almost humanize him in a little way,
Hmm.
in a sense, well, he's not human. He's better than he's understandable. But given the examples, I wouldn't necessarily say he's perfect either. If you can humanize it just a little bit, going, you know what? God doesn't make mistakes. Eh,
Hmm.
He sure as hell made a mistake putting that person here. He sure as hell made a mistake putting Hitler on this planet. He sure as hell made a mistake when the Crusades happened. There was sure as hell a mistake when these corrupted priests and preachers came in.
Sheesh.
That was a pretty big faux pas, if you ask me. Matter of fact, there's even an example that God makes mistakes when he flooded the earth. Because when he flooded the earth, what did that rainbow mean? My bad, I ain't going to ever do it again.
Hmm.
That's a self-admitted mistake. So it's like, if you can humanize him just a little bit, just to be like, you know what? There are some things, it's one of those, like the butterfly effect, when you know it's coming. So, like when they say, if you ever travel to the past, don't gamble, don't do any of this because you're going to affect certain changes and stuff like that. It's one
Yeah.
of those, like, I know what's going to happen, so let me tweak this. And that ends up creating a whole different line of problems.
Yeah.
You may have fixed that one, but there's another effect that affected. Now we got to deal with that.
The ripple
Let me get
effect.
rid of envy. Shit, now envy made murder. Let me get rid of murder. Damn, now murder made greed.
Yeah.
There are certain things that kind of, if like I said, you don't have to completely humanize him, but you can't say we are made in his image, but at the same time, we are made in his image, but we're not him at the same time. What?
Yeah.
I that I don't understand. You know, if God has if we have a sense of humor, that means God has a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
If we have empathy, that means He has empathy. If we have strife, guess what? I mean, the four horsemen of the apocalypse were created by who?
Yeah, well, preach.
You know, Satan and his followers. Created by who? So it's like,
Casting them out.
and right, casting them out. It was like, how dare you think that you're better than me? You know what? You're gone. Wait a minute. All powerful, all knowing. You knew he was going to do that. You knew he was going to try and come for your throne, yet you made him anyway. You
Lucifer
knew he was.
Morningstar.
You made him the most beautiful. You made him his voice the best. He was technically, out of all the angels, your most perfect angel. Yet you knew he was going to turn on you.
Ooh, yeah.
So it's kind of one of those like, if you know things are going to happen, why create the situation that makes it happen? If
Pros and
you
cons.
if you already know, you know what, if I do this, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that ain't a good thing. I don't know about that. Probably shouldn't do that. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Well, that's the what you say, you got the devil on one shoulder and you got God on the other shoulder. You balance scale.
I understand it. Especially when you look at nature and everything, there is a balance to things. There's an order and a balance that the food chain and everything else like that. There is a balance to certain things, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about life in itself is that there is a balance.
Yeah.
And you can see that circle of life. You can see that balance as it comes, and nature and everything. Life itself. We are lucky motherfuckers to be on this planet.
I agree. But yet
One in a
it gets treated like shit.
billion plus chance that we'd ever walk this earth, and we all made it.
You treat it like shit. You take
The
it for granted.
the 8 billion people, or 7 to 8 billion people who walk this planet. There are more people who aren't with us that could have made it that didn't make it than there are people who are here. Even though there's 8 billion people on this planet, we are all lucky to be here. That's a roll of the dice that we're all here.
It's a
So
fair statement.
it's one of those, we really have to look at it and go, and that's another one of the beautiful things is going, if you can be able to sit back and go, you know what? Hey, and I tell people, how you doing? God woke me up today. I'm good. I woke up today. Appreciating life. I've definitely had to learn, that way. I've definitely had to learn going, control what I can control and deal with what I can't.
Yep.
What I can't control, all right, when it happens, figure out a way to get through it, do it from there, roll with the punches when we need to. But outside of that, it's just, control the controllable, roll with the punches for what you can.
You know why? Because thank God I got this roof over my
I
head.
think
I got
yours
this
went out. I think it's
electricity.
my whole thing that went out. Hold on a second. I'll
Oh,
come
did I
back.
go out? Well, I'll hold it down for a second. But as he was saying, thank God for definitely waking up to enjoy this glorious, glorious world we live on. Number one, roof over your head, food on the table, clothes on your back. Family's good. Hey, no stress. The only thing I just wish there was more or less rain. But I get it. You need rain.
Rain sustains life, even
I can't hear
fire.
you.
You can't hear
You
me?
might. You're
I
not
can
on
hear
mute.
you.
Yeah, but I can't hear you. I can't. I don't see you on mute.
Now?
No.
Hang on.
Nope. So I believe in him. I give all the glory to him first. Definitely when I wake up in the morning, get to see my family. So, and the thing is, if you don't believe, you're right.
How about now?
That is, you're God. Nope, still nothing.
No? Fuck.
Dub had this problem the last time me and him was trying to get on. I don't know what it was, what he did or anything, but
Now?
nope, nothing.
Son of a...
This is crazy. You were just there a second ago. Boy, the internet can really be a joke. It likes to mess with you. So you were talking too much about God. Now we can getting tested. That's what happens.
Now?
Nope.
Son of a...
Maybe it's probably me. Maybe if I back out, you stay on, I back out and see.
Yeah, let's see.
Or
Might be
refresh.
that.
Can't refresh it, huh?
That's what I'm saying. You have to close out.
Close out.
And then come back. Because I can hear him. I can hear him no problem. So that's why I'm wondering. Let me check the stream out in here too, just to be 100% certain here that I can hear myself. Hello, hello. Yep, I can hear myself on the stream, so it might be his end as well. Yep. So it's probably because I could hear him, he couldn't hear me, so that might have been his end. But as long as everybody else and stuff like that can hear, we're good. Let's see.
Definitely can
How
hear
about
you
now?
now. Yeah, you're good. Can hear you.
Fuck, now I can't hear you.
Ain't that about a bitch?
So I can't hear you here, but I can hear you and everything.
On the
Like
television?
on stream, we're good on audio.
Wow.
But here, like I can't hear you at all. I don't know what the hell happened.
That's crazy. Well,
So I mean, I might have to hear it afterwards or what.
But
Slight
technology.
delay, in it. But I mean, we're coming up tail end of the show and stuff like that, anyways. But yeah, it's. I mean, I know there's a lot of questions that people have about it. I know there's a lot of people who, it's atheists and stuff like that. Is there's nothing, and if you don't believe in anything, you got to believe. I feel like you got to believe in something. I
Something,
feel like
yes.
there's whether it's believing that life has a way, believing that there's a certain circle of life, certain pattern of whether it's spiritual, whether it isn't, but there's, I mean, it's a belief to be atheist anyway. It's a belief not to believe
Yeah.
in a certain way. So there's a lot of things that's like I feel like in order to kind of get through life, to be able to explain certain things, I feel like it's kind of healthy to be able to go, all right, well, I can't explain it, that's going on for whatever reason. If I learn it, figure it out later on, cool. But until then, it's like one of those, it is what it is,
Agreed.
type of things. So it's just one of those when I look at religion as a whole, I definitely think that as a people, we really got to kind of take a step back and look at what the hell it is that we are fighting over.
Mm-hmm.
The message, and it's another Eddie Griffin quote that I heard. It's like, who gives a shit who the messenger was? Did you get the message? So it's like, if you didn't get the message, it really doesn't matter who the messenger was. So it's we gotta really kind of step back and take care of each other in every single way, because the world is way too chaotic. There's so much, and I don't think people understand that the more that we can actually take care of each other,
Yeah.
the better off the world is going to be. When the community is good, you're good. When
Hey,
when we're all, when everybody's prospering, you individually will feel prosperous yourself.
hey, what do I say? I
You know
say
when
I don't have too many friends. Everybody that's around me is my family. I got a very, very, very large village, and we do take care of each other.
yeah,
So I
well,
I believe that
we just
I believe in that.
yeah, I mean, it's just, we gotta just be able to have the village. The village is something that, and I think the village means more than just your local, whoever, your inner circle and stuff like that. The village is like, it's essentially the whole world.
Yep.
In a world where violence and war has been running rampant since almost the beginning of time, the need to conquer and all this other kind of stuff. For one reason or another, everybody tries to justify a reason to do bad things, and whether that's twisting the words of God, or doing doing whatever it is, it's just one of those, like, if we can actually sit back, look at things, and really logically think about it, going, if everybody, oh, what would Jesus do? Well, if you really want to live by that, if you really want to live by what Jesus would do, don't be a prick.
Yep.
That's that, don't be an ass. Like, don't be a dickhead to somebody else just based off of what they believe or what they look like or how they're dressed or
I love
because
it.
that's not what Jesus would do.
I love it.
Jesus would be like, hey, come on in, let's talk.
Break
Let's
some
have a
bread.
conversation.
Break some bread.
If we can't sit there and have the conversation, if we can't sit there and be not, agree to disagree, but still be civil and still be able to kind of talk with each other and be like, hey, we may not agree on that, but hey, this is pretty cool, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, we may not agree on that, but hey, we both like the same team. Fuck your team. But in general, just it's if you really sit back and look at it, we have a lot more in common than we do different.
Yep.
And I think people just need to get over certain ego trips, thinking that the world revolves around them. It doesn't. You're not the main character in everybody's story. So it's just, it's one of those things that we have to really sit back and look at life through a clear logical lens.
100%.
And I may be wrong about certain things that I've seen in the Bible, but I just know for sure, overall, I feel like I know what the message is, and that's just to be as kind a person as I possibly can. I got to get over the I'm only going to be kind to the people who deserve it type of thing. That's for sure. That's something I personally have to kind of get over, because there are certain people in this life that walk through that I look at and I go, you just need to be punched in the face. You know, it's like you need to, like, somebody needs to smack you in the mouth for you to understand, what's going on. Now, is that a healthy way of living? No, it's not.
No.
I shouldn't think that way. I should go the other. I should be able to turn the other cheek. But that's a growing thing for me, and that's
At
a
least you can recognize
self-awareness
it.
thing for me that
Yeah,
I know that I need to work on as life goes on. And if people can have a bit of a self-awareness going, I know I'm not perfect, I know what I need to work on, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect. And once you get to that point of self-awareness, I feel like when you have self-awareness, you being judgmental to other people goes away, because you can be able to look through the lens of, I ain't perfect, so why am I going to get mad at them for not being perfect?
hmm hmm
So it's just it's a thing we all gotta get over. All we all
Yeah.
gotta do in order for us to become a better society, a more loving, a more forgiving, more empathetic society. Um, it's really about looking in the mirror and knowing what you want for yourself. Now, there's a lot of people in this world that just have hatred in their hearts, whether it's from the way they were raised or something that happened to them, or is that, and I can understand to a certain extent, but at some point, like I said, you need to be able to look into the mirror and go, well, this ain't no way to live.
Yep.
Just sitting here angry and pissed off at people all the time for really no reason, just because they have it better off than me or they look different than me. That's no way to live. That's how you get ulcers and die quick.
And
you
get gray
know
hair.
like, that type of stress, because you're really
hmm
going out of your way for that type of hatred.
hmm
That's not something that really comes naturally. I think. I mean, people have a little bit of, there are some people who walk this planet that's just naturally evil. There's just bad human beings.
Can't help
President.
themselves. Yeah.
But it's there's just one of those things that you have to be able to go, all right, why do I hate this person?
Right.
Why do I hate this? Why is this something that I just can't seem to process? I can't be good towards it. Why is that? And a
Yeah.
lot of it is, again, self-reflection. If you can find, go to therapy, people. I tell people all the time, if you need to go to therapy and stuff like that to figure some things out, go to therapy. Do that. I know Mizzle's done some certain things. You'll be able to help himself out. I'm trying to. I haven't done it yet, but I feel like there are certain answers that I don't have to questions that I have,
Mhm.
that I feel like I may need to talk to somebody in order to figure that one out.
Yep.
And that's okay. You're not going to have the answers for everything in life. That's
hmm
just, and to think you will is just going to further prove that you won't. And you're just going to have, and then it's just going to spiral and spiral. Well, I thought I knew this, I thought, and now it's just not working. Well, I thought I'd do that, and now it's just, well, yeah, because you didn't really know. You made yourself think that you knew, but you don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's okay to look out. It's okay to find, and a lot of, when it comes to religion, that's where a lot of people, when they're questions, that's where they go to find their answers. And it's just unfortunate that you have people who take advantage of that. You have people who are willing to sit there and look you dead in the eye and tell you one thing while completely doing something else. It's just, if faith is a beautiful thing. Faith in whatever it is that you believe in. It's a beautiful thing. It's cool to believe in whatever it is that you want to believe in. Religion to me is a little, it's there's work to be done,
Right.
for sure. Um, but I think as long as people can hold themselves accountable, as well as if you can hold other people accountable, you got to be able to hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so it's getting to that point. Now, how long that'll take? Will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know. I would hope so, but at the end of the day, you can only, what was the saying? Be the change that you want to see in the world. So if you want to see more kindness, be that. Because like we said earlier, kindness is contagious. If you're just not, somebody can be having a shitty day, you don't even know, and all you do is you just kind to them, and that one piece of kindness can bring that light into that darkness.
Yeah.
And then it can open up for them, going, all right, maybe today's not as bad as I thought. That was pretty cool. That was kind. That was nice. And it just kind of domino effects into, all right, let's calm it down here for a second.
Yep. Yep.
let's,
Yep.
and let's see what's really going on. But
Correct.
until that day happens, I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of problems in the world, unfortunately. But how
Yeah.
we deal with those problems and how we come together as a group, as a society to handle said problems will really show whether or not any of us are worthy to be in whatever heaven that we believe in. So there's a lot of things. I mean, and throughout this show, different episodes, we'll probably come back to religions at certain points,
Oh
especially as
yeah.
things in the world progress. But as there's a lot of topics of conversation to be had that I'm really excited to tackle on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And having Mizzle, having EJ, Damien, Mad Sticks, we got other Dub. I want to get him on here to be talking about a few different things and stuff as well. So like there's a
Yes.
lot of things that of conversation, and we're gonna have a lot of conflicting there's going to be conflicting arguments. We're not always
Oh
going to
yeah.
agree on everything.
Oh yeah.
So there's but it's even though we don't agree, we're still family at the end of the day.
Oh yes.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? So it's just being able to get to that point, people. So we love you. Take care of each other. Think logically. Get your senses together. We appreciate you. For myself, JP, for Mizzle, for the great DJ Mastix, EJ, for everybody else here from the family. This was Logical Senses, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Later.